Hello and welcome to a new morning briefing presented by Stein Investments. I'm very happy being back here with you. The last days have been very intense. We worked a lot, we coded a lot, and we tested a lot and got plenty of feedback from our customers and the first users that bought EasyTrade and traded with it. And we fixed some important bugs and published the latest version 1.16 yesterday in the evening, and we are already working on future updates. So I'm now back with you, and I'd like to start with a classic market analysis as we've done in the past videos, and we see a picture we've seen pretty often the last days and weeks, and this is a falling total trading volume during the London session. I don't know why this is the case. The Asian traders are more the guys that open new positions, and the European traders seem to close most of them. And yesterday in the afternoon, I noticed there has been a higher volatility and a higher intensity during the New York session, but unfortunately, I didn't have time to trade. But this will become better the next days and weeks, hopefully. So in general, this is not ideal to trade, but I asked ChatGPT based on the Easy Insight export data earlier this morning if there is something interesting to trade, and it came up with a buy opportunity of gold against the Aussie dollar. Here is the ChatGPT judgment of the data as sent, and this is the detailed report with why it qualifies, and that's pretty interesting because you also get the near miss watch list if you enable the watch list option, and then you see which opportunities have been also interesting but missed to be full qualified setup and why. And especially if it turns in the direction of volume, I would ignore these opportunities completely. It's something different if the risk reward ratio is missed by some pips, then I'll have a closer look. But if the volume doesn't support the trade, you can usually ignore it. If you like, you can check these charts as well to have your own due diligence. So this is the gold trade against the Aussie dollar, which is running very smooth to the upside, and it's also a perfect breakout setup here. The Aussie dollar is not really weak. I have to say here the long term is still a bit above the neutral area, but gold is extremely strong, and so this works out. Another interesting view is the FX volume net long delta, which calculates the net long versus of the base currency versus the net long of the quote currency, and you see there is a constant rise here that supports the trading direction here for this trade. So it's a pretty good one, and I'll keep this for the next minutes, maybe 1 hour before New York opens finally. We also are above the daily high today, but it can surely go further upwards, and if we like, we can already tighten our stop loss here or even set it to break even, but that would be a bit too early. So either way, I set my risk now to $10 minus, which is perfectly fine for me, and then we'll see how this turns out in the long run. Let's stop this AI stuff now and go back to the classic chart work with our currency overview. Takes a second until it's all calculated and displayed. So we have here the euro, which is pretty weak and is also weakening further. Then we have the British pound, which is split, US dollar neutral, Canadian dollar as well. Swiss franc is also weak with some good dynamic to the downside. Japanese yen, long-term neutral, but with some good upwards dynamic. Then the Aussie dollar neutral with downside dynamic, and the New Zealand dollar, which is still more on the strong side long-term, but also showing some down dynamic the last 2 to 3 hours. So what's a good trade combination here? Hard to say. Swiss franc short against the Japanese yen would be an opportunity, but both currencies are usually correlated, so that's definitely not ideal. US dollar and Canadian dollar are neutral, and the US dollar is always the driver for interesting market moves, so I don't expect any higher volatility without the US dollar moving. And the euro is also weak, but we are missing a stronger currency as counterpart, and this would be maybe the Japanese yen, but this is also just neutral here in the long term. So it's definitely best to wait until we see better conditions here for new trades. Last but not least, remain our non-Forex symbols. And there we have the Bitcoin with a stable and strong downtrend long term, which is currently moving without further dynamic, hovering here at the neutral area. Then oil is also neutral with some strong dynamic to the upside. You can see here has been a spike during the Asian session and is showing constantly strong dynamic to the upside. Really good move here. Then the Dow Jones is tending to the downside for several hours now. And then we have the German DAX with a clear drop to the downside. It hit the last, there has been a few other support levels broken already, but it's now stopped at this one and at the 130% ATR based and calculated on the open price of the DAX today. So that's probably due to the election of the new government today. So that's pretty much it for today. I can only encourage you to have a closer look at EasyTrade, which is really an excellent trading tool because it simplifies your trading workflow so much. And I also like to encourage you having a closer look at Easy Insight and start to experiment with the AI. And if you like to have a dedicated chat for the AI users, then just drop a line here below this video and we'll create one for you. That's it. That's it for today. I'm back working here, coding new features, testing new stuff for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.